Welcome back to Book Smart Life Dumb. It's me, it's Adam. How are all my what's the word I'm looking for? I forgot my intro. I forgot I forgot the thing I like to say. What's up, guys and gals and non-binary pals? I heard that once and I was like, that is such a freaking good introduction. And it rhymes and it's bouncy. Thanks to Will Campos for saying that on Dungeons and Daddies one time. I've been jamming through that podcast. I've been, if I'm addicted to any show right now, I think that's it. I'm going through season 3 right now, and it's all audio. It's just a podcast. You know, it's an hour and a half to 2 hours an episode, but it's just good, man. It's just like listening to an all-star roster of improv groups just like bounce back and forth on each other. It's great. It's great. But how was your week? I hope it was good. I hope it treated you well. I hope the weekend went great. I hope the week went great, and everything in between. Last week, we talked about me wanting to do more creative exercises, but I did say I needed to get a new notebook. Weird thing for me, though, is that because I work in grocery, I tend to get to take a lot of stuff home, or even just like pick up the odd like filler item I need for the groceries that I have in my car or in my fridge. The odd filler item in my fridge. However, that also means I don't go to like Walmart as often as I used to go get groceries, which also means that I have an interface with going to go get a notebook. So that is my complete failure. The one thing I set out to do this week, I did not do it, but it's been a busy week. Last Saturday, we had probably my favorite episode of Show in season 2 so far. We had, it's one of those things where it's like, I set out like a plan or like a bit or like something that can encompass at least half of the episode, right? But the conversation was so free flowing and so good, and everybody was bouncing off each other so well that I didn't even reach for my notebook for Show last week. It was fantastic. It was fan-freaking-tastic. And that just means that I get to bring the bit onto tomorrow's episode. Being today, I record on Friday. Saturdays, we do Show. It's going to be the nickname thing. It's going to be the thing where everybody brings up like a podcaster nickname. Everybody brings like somewhere between like 3 and 5. We put all of them into a wheel and then we spin it. And that's how we assign these podcaster nicknames to people. I went on an absolute tear. I think I wrote down like 10 or 11 of them. Most of them are riffs on the Rizzler. The guy from the Costco boys or Costco guys. Dude, I haven't been to a Costco in forever, but Costco, I feel like, is one of those institutions in the United States where no matter which one you go to across the entire country, you are going to receive the exact same experience everywhere you go. Big warehouse, wholesale sized items, but also just like that fabled famous like pizza slice or the hot dog, or you get the chicken bake. As someone who has lived on quite literally the exact opposite ends of the country and has gone to Costco in both, it is like walking in the exact same building. It's so fun. And maybe that's just a sign of me getting older. Maybe that's just a sign of me getting older and getting excited about dumb things. Like, I don't know. It's cool. I fuck with Costco. There's your F-bomb for the episode. I fuck hard with Costco. Sam's Club can stay the hell away over there. But yeah, so as you know, I didn't get to do my world building exercise. I also just really didn't have a lot to show up to this week, you know. So I'm sorry if it's a lot of rambling, but busy weeks make for busy weeks. But I feel like there's a lot of aspects of my life that I'm getting back on track with, especially in like my mental headspace. The eating clean has been pretty good still. You know, you have a meal or two that's just not great, but like to show off anything, I guess verbally here, is like I'm wearing a shirt that I grew out of, a shirt that I couldn't wear anymore. It still fit me, but it was a bit too snug in the regard that like it just felt tighter and it felt constrictive. I'm wearing it right now, and it is as loose and as comfortable as when I first bought it. I wasn't actually sure. I think I got this in like 2017, you know, like 10 years ago. You know what sucks though is that it's definitely shrunk over time with like the washer and the dryer. I don't know how we haven't evolved as a society to get past clothes that shrink in the dryer. How have we not solved this conundrum, this thing where you buy clothes, they fit great, and then the first time you freaking wash it, if you just don't have your settings dialed in right on your dryer or whatever, or you use hot water to wash it, you're smoked. You're done. You're done. I have to wash all of my clothes on two settings. It's the delicate settings, and then also I do low heat, which sucks too, because if I overfill it by accident on low heat, all my clothes come out damp. And where I live in an apartment building. I have to pay to use my washer and dryer. I have to pay an absurd amount. When I first moved here, they had coin operated ones, so it was like $1.25 per. And I also at the time worked at somewhere where I would get rolls of quarters in my tips. I worked in food service before, so I would get tips, and sometimes that would involve rolls of quarters, and that was great. I don't work there anymore. Thank God they moved to a card system, but unfortunately, they also increased the price by a whole dollar, so it's $2.25 on the washer, and then $2.25 on the dryer. And that just blows, man, because it's, you look at the prices of everything going up. I mean, with everything going on with Iran and the what's the word I'm looking for? The not the canal, but the strait. Let's see here. Strait of man. I hear this about every morning on the podcast I listen to every morning. They go over like pop culture and daily news and stuff like that. It's fun. I'm going to say it wrong. The Strait of Hormuz.
Hey, just wanted to let you know real quick. This is Adam from the future. I definitely did 100% pronounce that correctly. All right, back to the episode.
With that having gotten blocked up, and the oil prices going through the roof, and also just like what we've been dealing with in the States for years now, ever since the pandemic happened, and just every single political and economical miss that has happened after that. I mean, like, my rent is so much, and the electric keeps going up, and the gas is now $4 a gallon on average across the country. And it's just, dude, I just want a break, man. I remember I was like stoked when I was like 16. I was super stoked on the idea of living on my own and having my own place. And I would look up prices, and I would see like how much people pay on average. And oh, wow, they pay a lot of rent in like New York and stuff like that. Oh, but if I lived in the Midwest, it would be cheap. Or if I lived down like by my father, in Florida is cheap too, blah, blah, blah. This was also like 14, 15 years ago that I was looking this stuff up. I mean, the rent for an apartment was like $400 to $500. I would shit if I could pay that much right now. It's crazy. I'm in the process of and considering moving across the country to go move in with somebody else because my rent would be just a sliver cheaper. But I know that means that life would be infinitely easier too. It's a lot. It's a lot, man. I never really considered it too when I was growing up, about how like picking up and packing your whole life and going somewhere else, sometimes it's just a part of the process of trying to spend less money. I don't think I live anywhere I would consider to be like densely populated and bougie. I'm in the Cleveland area, but I'm very much in like the Midwest still. I'm kind of towards a population center, but at the same time, I'm like 10 minutes away from farmland. I'm 10 minutes away from dense forests. But I'm also 5 minutes away from the only like Chili's in the area, and like the mall and the movie theaters and everything like that. Dude, like, to sit down and think about money and the economy and how much I make versus how much I have to spend versus how much I want to spend. And dude, you want to talk about stress? You want to talk about just rent-free living in your own mind via your wallet? That seems to be the theme of being at least an American right now. I can't speak on the other countries out there in the world. Who knows? Maybe I'll just go to a different country. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe if I took the mantle of everyone who said that they were going to go become Canadian, Maybe I'll go live in like Western Europe. Man, if I had to live in Europe, where would I live? I probably would want to live somewhere that's like much more like English speaking. But also English is a pretty dominant language across Europe, from what I understand. I don't speak any other languages, but I am willing to learn. The UK sounds attractive in that regard because it's it's all English speaking. I think the only thing that would throw me off about living in the UK is probably just like social situations that are different and how people handle social situations differently there. And also just driving on the opposite side of the road would probably throw me the hell off. But at the same time, I'd also be sitting on the opposite side of my car. So I wonder if there's anything in my brain that would automatically swap over to make that easier for me. I don't know. I've never had to try it. I've never had to try and drive on the opposite side of the road. Even like in like simulators where I sit here with like my racing wheel and like I play like truck driving simulator or something like that. Like I can't remember a time where I needed to like sit there and like consciously think about driving on the opposite side of the road. But man, the UK sounds like it would probably be viable. I don't think I could ever live in France. I don't think I could pull that off. Germany, I'm leaning yes. The Scandinavian countries now. Now, what they have is the weather. What are the average? Let me see. Hang on. What's the average temperature in Norway? Oh my God. I would love it here. I would love it here. Norway's average temperature varies significantly by region, with coastal areas moderated by the Gulf Stream and a colder, more extreme continental climate inland in the north. Summer temperatures through June and August average around 55 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit, which would be 13 to 18 Celsius, while winter, being December through March, frequently drops below freezing, averaging 19.8 degrees Fahrenheit nationally. That'd be negative 6.8 degrees Celsius. See, I am such a jacket and jeans and like big coat kind of guy. I don't care to wear like summer shorts and t-shirts and tank tops and all of this. I've done that. I've been there. I just like the time I lived in Florida, man, all I wanted to do was just like have my body covered. And it's not because I was like body negative against myself. It's just I wasn't comfortable in shorts. I don't know how people get comfortable in shorts. I will say there was a stint though where I adopted like above the knee shorts, like very much like because it was like more comfy. It was like freedom of like range of motion, and for those reasons I kind of fell in love with that. But at the same time, it's like I would much rather wear pants. I'd much rather wear sweatpants indoors. I would rather wear like a good like fitting like hoodie. Man, a pullover hoodie can make a difference in how you see somebody. A pullover hoodie can define what you look like in so many good ways. I got a hoodie from where was it? It was at a Bass Pro Shops pop-up stand outside of a NASCAR race. They had these hoodies for $20. They were thick. They were good build quality. It was a amber orange kind of color that I really like. That I like is one of my favorite shades of orange. It's the same color of what's that? Whatever the college football team in Tennessee, and I still have it and I still rock it. It has a stain on it now though, and it bums me out. I got a stain on it and I don't know where from. But man, the way that thing like fits on my body, oh, iconic. Iconic, I'm telling you. A little housekeeping, even though we're already halfway through the episode, a little housekeeping. It would appear that my neighbors have moved out on the wall, not next to my office, but across the hallway, and so on the opposite side of the apartment, the far side of the apartment. However, because they moved out, they are now going in and renovating it. The strategy that this company that bought this complex is adopting is that they are going to let people run out their leases, keep increasing their rent to force some people out, which is shitty. But when those people move out, they are now going to go in and update and renovate all the models, which means that I wake up to construction every day. Now, the minute that the I think 8 a.m. hits and the city ordinance lifts, I am waking up to hammers and drills and all that stuff. It sucks. It sucks because while they're on the far side of the apartment from my office, that is a wall that is shared with my bedroom, where I sleep. I'm considering moving my bed back into my office like we did over the subathon because it does seem to be quieter in here. Thank God. But if you do hear some drilling, hammering, etc., I'll try and catch it and, redo my lines or redo what I said. But if you do catch it, sorry. A little audio texture for the Book Smart Life Dumb episodes to come. Patreon, you guys are just going to get to hear it all the time. You're so very welcome. The intimate view into my life, into the construction that I now live with, you get to live with for about 25 to 30 minutes throughout your week. There you go. A lot of cool stuff in the news. I can't remember if it was this past week or if it was the week previous. I'm only about a few sips into my coffee this morning. But the Artemis II rocket went to the moon, zipped around the moon, did a live stream of the moon. I didn't get a chance to watch it too because I was at work and it slipped my mind to pull it up on my phone or to sneak it onto one of the TVs at work. But they're on their way back. They broke the record for the furthest humans to get away from Earth, which is definitely a way to put it. The record wasn't for that. The record was the furthest distance from the Earth. That's what it was. It wasn't how far can you get away from civilization. Funnily enough, though, it's like, you think about that, right? You can't break any other records with that. I guess the one that comes to mind is like, who is the one human that was the furthest away from another human? That's what I want to find out. Because they're up there in a group, so they're technically not the furthest away from other humans because they're within a few feet of each other in this studio apartment sized, vessel going through space. But who is the one guy who is the furthest away from humanity? I wonder if that's even recorded. Farthest human from other humans. I love the autocomplete, knows exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah, it's showing me a lot of results for the Artemis II rocket. But most distant humans on April 6, 2026. Nope, this is the Artemis crew. This is the previous crew. Or no, this is the Artemis crew. I guess if you call it as a collective, sure, you can kind of give them that. But they definitely broke the record by reaching a distance of 252,756 miles. Which is astonishing. That's an unfathomable distance. That's when you try to tell someone to imagine 1,000,000 of something. And then you tell them, all right, now take that. Now imagine 1,000,000,000 of something. And those are incomprehensible things to put down in your brain space. But let's see. When are they slated to come back? Their return dates is going to be today. They're coming back today. The splashdown is expected around 8:07 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which would be about 7 hours away from the recording of this. Probably about 6.5 from when we post this up on Patreon. And they will be splashing down near San Diego in the Pacific Ocean. I don't know why, but I always imagine that the splashdowns always occurred in the Atlantic Ocean, always towards Florida. And I wonder why I think that. Probably because of Cape Canaveral and where a lot of those rockets take off from, I probably always just assume that they splash down somewhere near there. I guess that's not really like an illogical like way to look at it either. I guess like, you know, the ocean is huge. The ocean is vast. You know, you want to come back to imagining an unfathomable thing. Imagine all of the ocean. Imagine all of the ocean. So you got a lot of different places that you can land. But I wonder if that's something that they actually aim for. Do they actually aim to land in these specific spots in the ocean? Or do they just kind of make sure that the landing is going to be in an ocean instead of land? And then just like, as the time gets nearer, they get the boats ready to go snatch them up. I don't know. Interesting. All right. Well, welcome back. How was space? I can't wait to hear all about it. I can't wait to hear about all of the sites. I can't wait to hear about all the cool things that went down in outer space. Or is it outer space? What is that? What is outer space technically? What's the difference between space and outer space? I imagine it's outer space. If I'm gonna guess before I read any AI summaries or scroll down a couple of articles, because also real quick, it's okay. Google's making you use the AI summary. But it's even better if you just scroll down a couple times just to at least verify the info it's giving you. I'm going to guess that outer space is one of two things. It is either A, traveling outside our galaxy, or B, traveling outside the Earth's atmosphere. Which I could be wrong. I could be wrong on both. But those are my two guesses I'm allowing myself. According to Gemini, space is a broad term referring to the entire, mostly empty universe beyond Earth's atmosphere, while outer space specifically designates the region beyond the Earth's atmosphere. Oh, I got it. I got it with option B. So outer space is when you leave the atmosphere. Space is when you're still in the atmosphere. How is that still space? How are you just not in? If you're in the atmosphere, isn't there air there? Because I always associated space with the lack of oxygen, the lack of gases, the lack of anything, you know, the void, the emptiness that is space. Which, if we're going to keep bringing up, try to imagine, it's hard for me to imagine what that's like. An empty nothingness, right? Like, we've lived our entire lives in atmosphere. You move, you know, you wave your hand around. You could feel the air moving between your fingers and being pushed around. You know, the wind blows as the air is pushed around by pressure. But in space, if you could expose your hand out there, it's freezing cold. There's no anything. You wave your hand around, you don't feel a single thing between your fingers. It's just so hard to imagine that. I've always been fascinated by space and also like space like related physics and things like that. Not enough to like actually be like a guy that like goes to school for it or anything like that. But like if I were to fall down a YouTube rabbit hole, it typically was going to be about that. And it was also going to be about like ways to like compare that to sci-fi as well. Lightsabers and laser guns and spaceships and light speed or wormhole time travel or whatever it may be. Then, oh my God, this rabbit hole's getting even bigger. I just mentioned time travel. That's the other part of it, is that, what do you mean time moves differently in space than it does on Earth? I can't wrap my head around any of that, because as far as I know, one, time is a construct. Two, you mean to tell me that somebody who goes up starts like experiencing life in a different time scale? I have so much research. Next episode is going to be next episode is going to be like an essay. It's going to be like standing up in front of a room of my peers talking about, hello everybody, my name is Adam and I figured out space. Oh my God. I can't. This is so much. This is so much. Where's my book? Where's my book and where's my pen? I gotta start writing out things. Space is exciting. Exploration is exciting, and the world around us is exciting if you find interest in it. To put a neat little bow on the entire day, whether you are somebody who is stoked about apartment renovations, someone who is stoked about humanity making leaps forward in space exploration, in the science and the research therein, or any of the other stuff I talked about. If you can just be interested in something, you can spark so much passion out of that. But passion doesn't always have to mean dumping your entire heart and soul and make it your life's work, right? I'm passionate about a lot of things. I think music is something I'm very much passionate about, and I aspire to do a lot with music, but I'm also passionate about music because of the way it makes me feel. I'm passionate about the excitement behind space travel and exploring worlds that aren't ours, worlds beyond Earth, right? But I'm not going to sit down and figure out how do I sign up for astronaut school. There's so much to everything, and if you want, it's this day and age, it's all within your fingertips. They are all an internet search away. I couldn't imagine what it would be like to be so fascinated with like the moon at the same time that like Newton's those three laws. Wow, I am so out of it. You know, I can't imagine being fascinated about what the moon is and what it's like and what's happening up there and what happens when you go up there at the same period of time as Newton's laws of physics came about. You know, and to have information available at your fingertips. I mean, you walk around with the entire world's wealth of information in your pocket, which is also new. That's something that when I was born, when I was a kid, when I was growing up, when I was running around, when I had, like a Game Boy or something like that, or, I went out and played with sticks or something to that degree, that wasn't something that existed. It wasn't because I was a kid. It was because nobody had it. It wasn't because the adults had it and I couldn't. Nobody had it. You have the tools. You have everything you need. If you're passionate about something, be passionate. That's going to do it for episode 9. I will see you guys all next week, and I haven't pre-written any of my dates out. This episode is going to be out for Patreons in about 15 minutes from this recording, being a Friday, April 10th. And then that means that y'all will be listening to this Monday morning on April 13th. Next episode slated to get recorded on the 17th. And that following release will be on the 20th. I hope you guys have a great day. Go ahead and check out patreon.com/bookdumb. I have some exciting things I'm actually going to be trying out over there with some actual exclusive content for the patrons. If they want it, let me know. But until then, I'll see you guys another week. Bye-bye. Have a fantastic week.